Okay. Oh my God, I did something right.
Well, welcome everybody to the January Wisconsin Dairyland monthly community practice meeting. I'm Mary Walz. I'll be one of the presenters this evening. I am a computer science teacher at Stockbury High School, just outside of Madison. Who else is here?
I'm here. Hi, my name is Saghar, Homayounpour, and I teach at New Berlin West Middle High School in New Berlin. Welcome.
My name is Jenny Tabber. I teach at St. Lawrence Seminary, math and computer science.
Hi, my name is Fatima Tlemceni. I teach computer science at Brookfield East High School, part of Elmbrook Schools.
And what's your child's name?
Amina.
Gina.
She's a girl, but she is wild.
We love wild Amina. That's awesome.
Yes.
So I'm Joe Kamak. I caused a lot of trouble. I'm a CS advocate and been retired for a long time from math and computer science at the high school level.
And I'm Amy Bires. I am the computer science consultant for the Department of Public Instruction, former teacher as well, and excited to be here today and a presenter today.
Great. So who wants to kick us off?
I can start.
Go ahead.
Okay, I am disabled for sharing.
Let me. Okay, you should be available. Sharing.
I should. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's try one more time.
Does it work?
It does. I'm not supposed to go on my email. This is okay. Ms. Tabare, Jen, is your first name Jen?
Jenny, yes.
Jenny. I know Fatima is familiar with Mentors in CS. I have seen her during the meetings, but I don't know how much familiar you are with Mentors in CS program. This program started 3 years ago in Wisconsin, and actually Wisconsin was the only state throughout the country to start this program. I think next year 2 other states are going to join, or at least one I know. But for the last 3 years, Mentors in CS program has been implemented in Wisconsin only. So what this program in a nutshell is that they match a mentor and a mentee who work on one-on-one basis together, and they really the goal is to support the mentee any ways that based on the strengths and needs of the mentee and what the mentee really needs. When I talk about novice teachers here, it doesn't mean that these are all first-year teachers. They can be experienced teachers who are teaching computer science for the very first year, or they can be first-year teachers. And we meet twice a month, focusing on the goals of the mentee, and focus is mostly on high school teachers, high school computer science teachers, and on APCS principles, most of the teachers, and then exploring computer science. For example, but there are exceptions too. For example, this year, I am working with a mentee that is teaching middle school. So that happens, but mostly we are helping the high school teachers, and this is the project team. You all know Amy and Linnea from our CSTA chapter. So the goal really is that there is like a recruitment section, step that they announced it, and they look for people who really need to the support the first year of teaching computer science, and they announce it other teachers who have more experience teaching to see who wants to step in and help. It's one-on-one mentoring, which is really good. It's just focused on the needs of one person, and we share a lot of resources. We share a lot of strategies that have worked for us. And the interesting thing is that we don't just jump in and give solutions. We kind of help them find their own solutions and their own strategies that really works in their classroom and then with their own students. So each classroom is different. Each teacher has a different style. So we kind of listen and share ideas, and they take it from there and implement it in their classes. It has really helped the mentees with being confident teaching computer science, and it really has helped me to grow as a teacher and learn about mentoring skills. And really, a lot of times teachers jump in to help and give solutions. It has actually helped me to kind of slow down, listen more, and then let the mentee find his or her own style and way. It's just kind of as a colleague to share what has worked with me, what hasn't worked for me, and they get it from there. So it is a multi-tiered system of equity, really. Equity and inclusion is the really focus, although I'm going to talk about which standards we cover, but this is just a big part of it. Equity is a big part of it. So who would be eligible to be a mentee? Anyone who is teaching computer science for the first time, regardless if it's a first year teacher or 20-year experience with 20 years experience. And mentors need to have like 5 or more than 5 years of experience teaching computer science. The priority is with teachers serving rural communities and high concentration of Black and Latino students. The thing is that there are not that many computer science teachers anyways, so it's really our priority is to find mentees in those areas, but we accept any mentee from any area, and then mentors with equity-focused experience. We try to match the mentee and mentors based on sometimes the districts that they work. Maybe they work at the same in the same district or the same area, the same rural area, or based on the needs, if they teach the same courses. A lot of things we try to match to make it work the best for our mentees, and it's based on the needs and strengths of them. So here are the 5 computer science standards. And for the last 3 years, we have focused on 3 of them. The star would go around them. So classroom practice, instructional design, and equity and inclusion. And to be honest, for the last 3 years that I have been in this program, yes, the focus is on one of them each cycle, but they are all intertwined and they're all related. So they're not separate from each other. Yes, we may start with a classroom practice, but then equity and inclusion comes in, and then we end up talking about those things too. So we set the goal. There is like a self-assessment for the mentees. So they kind of identify their strengths and their needs. And then what they do, they select some of those needs, the things that they need to work on. And then there are 3 cycles. Each of these cycles focuses on one of those standards that I mentioned. Mentees and mentors meet twice a month, and then there is like a group meetings, one for orientation, one for mid-year check-in, and then it's the end of the year celebration. To be honest, I have heard a lot of positive feedback about this program, and it grows, it gets better and better. So every year we reflect on how it worked, what things worked really, what things were just in the way or just too much, and then we reflect and make it better. I hope this program grows really. When I started 9 years ago, first year teacher, and I had to teach, I think 6 or 7 different courses. I was overloaded, and to be honest, I was scared how to start, how to take care of all of these. No curriculum saved for me from the previous teachers, nothing. And I had a teacher who became my mentor, and he talked to me, and until this day, if I need anything, I just email him, I call him, and he's always there for me. So I think this program brings that support that some teachers really need in this field. You can find so many resources, math resources, physics resources, but computer science resources, good resources that really have been tried and revised. We don't have many of them. So I think this program is providing that support for first-year teachers. And it's bringing confidence for them and also for the mentors. I have learned a lot throughout this program. Mary, it's your turn. Would you like me to stop sharing so you share?
Sure. And while we're making that transition, welcome, Heidi. Would you like to unmute and introduce yourself?
Oh, there we go. Sure. So I am Heidi Williams. I am the computer science curriculum specialist for Marquette University. And I help with Project Future. So we're really focusing on K-5 integration of CS. And I also just started with Sacred Heart University as an adjunct faculty, using a lot of the great work that you guys just went over with their pre-service teachers, and focusing in on standard 1, the content knowledge. So super excited to start that work too.
And you also teach the computational thinking webinar or course, I should say, out of ISTE, right?
Correct. Yeah, I teach computational thinking for every educator with my cohort, Mike Carlin from California. And he actually is also helping me now with Sacred Heart, teaching this intro course on standard 1 of the teacher educator standards through CSTA.
And when is the next time that someone can enroll in that computational thinking?
I believe the next cohort starts in February. The interesting part is we've had states gather around, conglomerating around taking that course as a foundation to then go forward with like that CS integration and supporting computational thinking in all subject areas K-12. We're working with a cohort from Utah. So Utah is going to be starting this next month. And they're starting with 25 teachers in the state of Utah. They're going to be like their role models. And then they're going to open it up to, I believe, 75 more teachers during the summer to take that CT course and then have a deep dive into CT and apply for ISTE's micro-credentials for computational thinker.
Wonderful.
Cool. All right.
Thank you for letting me introduce.
Yes. Our topic tonight is our mentors program through CSTA. Saghar and I have, this is the 3rd year for the program, and I think we both have been in it all 3 years. And so just sharing some information so that our members will know about this opportunity and also to spread the word. So we have a plethora of resources that has been put together by CSTA so that the mentors have a lot of resources to work with. So in coming out of those resources, a lot of self-reflection. Not only am I helping a mentee, but that mentee is helping me because we have those monthly or bi-monthly conversations. I don't have another CS teacher in my building to talk to. So it gives us a chance, and she doesn't either. So it gives us a chance to bounce things off. My first year, we had such a strong connection that we both made plans to go to the CSTA convention. I think that was Chicago, wasn't it? And then we had a chance. That was our first time when we met in person, which was really cool. There's a partnership agreement that's put together for us. There's templates with everything. I'm going to share those. And then we log the different things we do. I know Saghar mentioned that we meet, the mentors meet each month, and I can honestly say my experience with those meetings, that of course in the evening I'm like, oh, just another meeting, can I do it? And yet when I get in there, there's just so much enthusiasm that I end up at the end of it just re-exuberated in terms of excitement. So even though I might have been sleepy when I got in there, it definitely is some great camaraderie with the other mentors. So the self-reflection is one of the templates that we have. So all of our mentees get to go through. I know you can't read all the small print on here, but so this one was on standard 3. They have it set up where the person is going to pick, is this something that they're strong in, or is it something they need to get growth in? They pick a couple of them to talk about and the justification, and then come up with some ideas on what they might do, and then come up with a plan for the year. I know one thing that I stress with my mentee is I don't want this to be extra work. There's a lot of things that you're going to do. And just by simply putting it in writing, then you're probably more likely to do it, because you know you should, and just kind of helps you be a little bit accountable too. But I kind of said the same thing when I went through national boards certification, which was quite time consuming, is that I didn't want it to be, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. It's like, I'm already doing great things. Let me refine this and work on my growth that way. So I kind of take that same mentality with my mentee. The partnership agreement, up on top, you see that we put our cell phones and our emails in there so that we can be in contact with each other. We come up with the areas of emphasis that we feel like the two of us have. And then we agree to the guidelines there to help us each be accountable. But we also know that life does exist, and sometimes things come up and you have to adjust and be flexible. I've been able to meet with my mentee on a regular basis in the evening, twice a month. I've heard others that end up with a common prep time at school or a lunchtime or something during the school day where they can check in with each other. So it's very flexible that way. Here is relationship building. What are some things that you have in common? So there's questions there to help you build that conversation. So, so it's not like you have to think, well, what should we talk about? So here you can write these answers, and then you find out that you have something in common, or you're very diverse with some things that you can have those conversations about. Down on the bottom, you'll see there's cycle 1, cycle 2, and cycle 3. So it kind of breaks the year up into like tri periods, tri-cycles. So we are currently in our second cycle. We started just after or a little bit before the break, I think, the winter break. So this is all laid out for us in a spreadsheet that only the mentee and the mentor and then the CSTA supervisors can see, where we, to keep track of notes and things like what are we going to do, what is something we should get done before the next meeting, what are we going to try. So I just let my mentee probably kind of talk more and I write the notes in so they can kind of just gather their thoughts. You know, we were talking about our ducks earlier, and I think sometimes I'm the duck. I just let them talk to me and figure things out. So
Hey, Mary, can I ask a question real quick?
yeah.
Are these tools available like on the CSTA website or on the mentoring, or is it something you guys created?
It's CSTA created them, and they are put together for the mentor and the mentees. So Wisconsin had the program first, and now they're starting to expand the program. So the best way to get access to them would be to get into the Wisconsin program. I don't think they have them available for general use.
Okay, I'm just thinking like we have places where we're supporting like CS coaches, and
Yep.
I could see this being morphed into a CS coaching kind of resource, but there's
Yep.
a lot of really good groundwork that was already done instead of reinventing the wheel.
Yeah. Saghar, do you know if it's general access or not?
I haven't seen it on the website for general view, but I think if you contact Amy Featherstone or Linnea, because they are co-presidents of our CSD and they are part of this program, like planning and everything, they either have an answer for you, or they can contact the people who designed this and see if they are allowed to share it with you too. Do you have their emails? You know them, right? Amy
Yeah, I
Featherstone?
do. Yeah, I
Yeah.
do.
I think
Thank
those
you.
are because those are the connection of Wisconsin CSTA with this program.
Perfect.
Another
Thank
way, yeah, another way to get access would be to the people that you're working with, get them in the program as either mentees or mentors. And I don't know if it would necessarily be another thing on their plate or if it's something that could be embedded with what you're already doing. And there are stipends for participating. So it's another cool thing about it. A stipend for the mentees and for the mentors. So there's the 3 cycles. This one looks like it's a little filled out a little bit more. You can see we put links in there. So we fill these out when we meet with our mentees. So I think this is a picture from last year. You can see that our locations are pretty diverse, which is kind of what one of our major emphases is that a lot of times a computer science teacher will end up in a building all by themselves, in somewhere in northern Wisconsin or western Wisconsin or southern Wisconsin. And then the mentors don't have to be necessarily located next to them. I'm down by Madison, and my mentee this year is up by Green Bay, Oshkosh, in that area. And so we do all of these things virtually. Although this year we're planning on pulling the 2 of them together at the March conference, trying to encourage people to attend that. Just give you a chance to look at that. I think the one thing about the equity here is the location of where people are located. Like I said, they can be in a remote rural community and trying to get some computer science going in their district. Maybe it's several buildings or a building, and we're there to support them. Mentors, we have a book that we've been referencing for equity and inclusion. But we're definitely building community with people. What makes this different than other programs? This one is very structured, as you can see from those templates. The 3 cycles, we focus on one goal at a time. We have lots of conversations about pedagogy and content. I think in general, the mentor and the mentee are kind of connected grade level wise. Like Saghar said, most of them are high school. I happen to have she's a 612 teacher this year. So I'm high school and she's middle school, high school, because she's in a smaller rural school. A chance to talk pedagogy about, hey, I tried this and this is what happened, or I've heard about this resource and such. Conversation. I did it again. Sorry about that. Equity and inclusion, and we just become part of a broader community because we also talk about being in CSTA, which is not only just our chapter here in Wisconsin, but you can be a part of the national chapter of CSTA and get even more resources there. Our stories, I think I've kind of been sharing mine as I've gone along, and I think Saghar did too. But Saghar, is there any other fancy story you want to share?
No, I know that the way this program has helped me is that it has helped me to reflect on my teaching as well. When a teacher shares concerns and then some issues going on in class, and I share, and I actually when the mentee shares some good work in class or struggles, then it gives me some time to reflect on my teaching, and then I learn from them, or I revise something, or if something has worked really, I try to work on it and make it better. So it has really empowered me as a teacher too, and I have learned a lot. So I don't think it's a one-way, it's a two-way of 2 colleagues working together. And the good part is that no matter where you are, if you are up north, like the furthest rural area, again, you have that support from more experienced teachers in Wisconsin. It doesn't matter. You don't have to drive. You don't have to, in the comfort of your house, you can have that support as much as you need. Yes, we agree to meet twice a month, but if they need more support, they just need to email us. They pick up the phone. I know one of the mentees was in tears one year calling her mentor, and she just rushed there. She helped. So we are there for them. And then I think that's the best program that we can offer to broaden that CS education in Wisconsin.
And do you have any questions about the mentoring program? Sienna, I think we were sharing it now, but the registration is usually in the summer, or is it in the spring? Usually it's in the summer, isn't it, Saghar?
Pardon me?
The registration, like to sign up for the program, to be a mentee or a mentor.
Yes, it starts sometime in June, and then they announce it a couple of times. I was distracted by Amy's chat here. I'm not really giving them an option. I'm not sure who you're not giving an option. Sorry, that's why I got distracted. Could you
I
please
think that had to
elaborate?
do- It was the Milwaukee group, wasn't it, Amy?
Well, the mentors in CS is really, you're going to need to present this at the CS for All Summit this fall in Milwaukee. So that's why I'm saying I'm not really giving you a choice or an option. You're going to present it because this is an amazing program that everybody needs to hear about.
Yeah, and that's what I put in the chat. So thanks, Amy, because this is absolutely amazing. It highlights all the great work that's going on across the state. It's absolutely amazing.
All right. Uh-oh. These are.
We were supposed to take that out, I think.
Was that, we just moved the slides to the end, did we? All right.
Yeah.
So there is the contact information. So, all right. Joe, I think we're good. Do you want to introduce the next speaker? I'm going to stop sharing somewhere.
So let me introduce Amy Bires, who is our chief consultant in computer science. Thank God we've got somebody like her. And been real active over the last year and a half or so. And will continue to be active, I know. So take it away, Amy.
Yep, I am getting there. Just going to share my screen. So it's good to see you, Jenny. What school district are you at, Jenny?
I'm a private school in Fond du Lac County.
Okay. Oh, yes, St. Lawrence Seminary. Okay. Thank you. I remember that now. Okay. And Fatima, it is good to see you again. I hope you were able to make that connection with some of the ladies down in Milwaukee for your guest
She
speaker.
actually emailed me and she's coming. Thank you so much.
Great. I'm glad to hear that. All right. I'm going to share my screen here. Hi, Mina. She's so cute. All right. So as Joe said, I am your computer science consultant for the state of Wisconsin. I have been here just a little over a year. I started last in 2022 in August. So I've been around, like I said, a little over a year, but it's been a great work to work with everybody over here. So Joe asked me to just share some different supplemental resources for computer science. And hopefully my Bitmoji is going to be a false Bitmoji in the next couple of days as we are hopefully going to start warming up here and get out of this cold spell. But I don't know if I'm looking forward to the rain and snow that's supposed to come next week. So we're excited to be here. But one of the things that I really wanted to start out today was about the Raspberry Pi Foundation. They have a lot of free computing and digital making literature out there. So I'm going to highlight the content within the big book of computing pedagogy tonight, but I also want to make sure that the Hello World digital magazine, it is a free download. This is the current issue right now, teaching in AI, and they archive all of their previous magazines out there, so you can definitely check that out. They have two special editions of books, the big book of computing content and the big book of computing pedagogy. So I have my big book of computing pedagogy that I look through a lot and share out those resources and just kind of concepts. And then they also have a podcast. And I just shared it here as one of their themes of their podcast was how can AI help us tackle climate change? So a lot of great resources out there. It is linked in the title out of the Raspberry Pi Foundation. So you can subscribe. It is a monthly subscription. It is free. We cannot get this magazine in a physical copy because it's coming from the UK. We can only get it in the digital download. These two books are also available in the digital download. If you're interested in getting a physical copy of the pedagogy book, let me know. I do have some. And Jenny, I am just up the road in Neenah, so I'm not too far away from you. So if you, I would love to come down and visit your classroom sometime soon. So we'll definitely make that connection. And then obviously podcast is all electronic. So there are, once again, just other issues when you talk about primary levels, systems and networks, sustainability and computing, cybersecurity, and just really a great opportunity to just check out the articles and see what kind of fits your needs out there. Within the big book of pedagogy, they talk about how we teach computing, and they have these 12 different concepts. I'm not going to go through all 12. I actually just picked 2 for tonight and just read an article and just going to highlight the different concepts that are shared in there. So we have lead with concept, structured lessons, make concrete, unplug, unpack, repack, work together, read and explore code first, foster program comprehension, model everything, challenge misconceptions, create projects, get hands-on, and add variety. So a lot of different ways that we teach computing out there. So I picked 2 articles within the pedagogy book to highlight tonight. And the first one that I want to highlight is the coding in 21st century skills, because these are the skills that I'm seeing on a regular basis that come up in our conversations. And we're talking about critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. And so this article talks about how you can potentially use these 4 different 21st century skills to really incorporate that into the bigger overall curriculum of not just computer science, but all of your curriculums out there. So we always know that educators are always looking for ways to really tie computer science or that coding curriculum to the larger educational system, because we always get asked, you know, how does this fit? Where does it fit? And having this deeper understanding of how computing education can play a role in developing those students' 21st century skills can, I think, really help our administrators, our parents, and our colleagues to really see the added value that computer science brings. So we have, you know, under critical thinking, dispel misconceptions, and that's a huge one right now, especially with AI and having those conversations about it's very biased. So how do we ask better questions? How do we have a better understanding of AI? And that's just the one that I am on an AI working group. So just trying to figure that out. Creativity. I think this is a great one that I think teachers sometimes struggle with, is that how do we take that non-traditional approach to have students demonstrate their understanding of the content and really starting to think outside the box. So computer science and coding allows our students to do that. The collaboration one I really felt was really important was empathy. And because sometimes our students are very much tunnel vision. And I have 2 children, 14 and 11, and sometimes they have tunnel vision. Like their thoughts and their process is the only one that is going to work. My husband is like that too. He's upstairs, so he can't hear me as we go through this. I know. But having that empathy and having an opportunity to experience other opinions and other thoughts. And this one has just really touched base with me, because I help my sons. I have my two sons, they're VEX robotics team. And I'm not the engineer. I am not the designer, not the builder of the physical robot. I help with the programming component, which, you know, obviously makes sense. But there are some times that they're looking at it and I might step in and say, hey, have you tried it this way? And just having that different approach, a different thought, a different way to look at it, I think it just has a better outcome for everybody. So I think that's really a great way to look at it. And my last one here that I want to talk about is communication. And this is one, in my previous job of working with the Microsoft Teams program, one of the things that they stressed so much with me was expert bias. Is that when we're working with volunteers from the industry, having them come into the classroom and vice versa, there are so many different terminologies that people don't understand, and making sure that we have that communication, that open, clear-cut communication. It is so important that we don't initiate that expert bias, and that we communicate, and we're not using acronyms all the time, because people, they use DPI is like, I think the DPI is the queen and king of acronyms when you talk about education. So I'm always asking, like, all right, folks, we can't have this expert bias. We really have to make sure everybody is on the same page and everybody understands. So with coding and 21st century, they're just going to help them overall just be a better person, and it's going to help into those other core curriculum areas as well. So that was one article, and that was under structured lessons. And then my next one that I wanted to highlight real quick was the Parsons problem. So I'm not sure if you, I'm just curious, and I can see my teachers here. Parsons problem, do you do any of those in class? Mary's shaking her head yes. Joe, you did? Okay. So looking at this one up here, on my little gray box up here. So we're going to rearrange the lines of the code to create a program that outputs the total cost to the customer. So when we look at this, we want to be aware that there are 2 lines of code that will cause errors in your program if used. So which 2 lines would cause errors if we used them? Let's see if I can do this. Can I do this one? All right. Is line 1 good? Is line 2 good? How about line
Yes.
3?
Concerned.
You're concerned about line 3. What about line 4? They're the same line though, right?
I'm more confident about 4.
Can you tell me why, Mary?
Sometimes we have discussions about uppercase and lowercase. And
Exactly.
in line 2, it was a lowercase q. In line 3, it's an uppercase q.
All right. So you're going to say we're going to cross that one out. Okay. So we're going to stick with line 4. What about line 5 and 6? Which one would you go with, line 5 or line 6?
Line 6.
Line 6? All
Well,
right.
you could
Oh.
go with both of them,
Yeah.
as one describes the number, and then the other one is the number. Or
Okay.
just number.
Yeah, so this is a great thing. So it's just, once again, going through those lines that, help the students understand. All right, so I'm going to go off of my
Yeah, line
pen.
6 is just going to print the word total, not give the value.
Right. Yep.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Sorry, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go back and get off my pen. I don't know how I do that. I'm on a laser pointer now, so I don't know how I got there, but oh, I don't want a laser pointer. Oh my goodness. Let's see. I try to get fancy and then I got, oh, I don't want subtitles either. Oh my goodness. We got in the wrong spot.
Well, and this is where ChatGPT comes in, because ChatGPT will help you decide what you should use and not use if you ask
Mhm.
them, or her, or it. Yeah.
I can get, give me just a second. I am trying
Amy,
to,
if you click on it one more time, would you cancel it? Sometimes like on PDF, when you click on it one
no.
more time, it cancels it.
Nope, let's see. If I'm just gonna press the enter key and we'll go that way. So the Parsons problem is it's a text or block based, kind of similar. You see, it can vary in difficulty. It can be offline or paper, where you can just look at it on a sheet of paper, or it can be directly in the coding environment. If you have it directly in the coding environment, the great thing about that is it immediate feedback, and it avoids any of those misconceptions that you can have out there. So when we really talk about Parsons problem, it's a task in which learners are given all the blocks and lines of code, or jumbled up, and then we're asked them to reorganize them out there. So that's a really neat way to kind of do that. So when we're looking at some of the benefits, then we can talk about Parsons problem. It's really focusing on structure and logic. It's very helpful in the early learning stages, and it's helpful with that logic and syntax that sometimes students are not always familiar with. And I think one of the best benefits is there's no errors due to a typing mistake. So sometimes you have your students who are typing away and they might have missed that colon or missed that quotation or the parentheses or the braces. We're not going to have any of those errors out there because of that. But sometimes there are distractors. So they have the incorrect blocks of code like we have here. And then you can also add level of challenge for confidence learners. So when you're looking at that, you can make that higher level of thinking go further and further as those students can continue to be a little bit more confident. One thing that when you are writing a Parsons problem, make sure you're explaining it clearly with the students, and you want to make sure that there's only one unique answer. You want to have them, actually, you can manipulate the actual lines of code. You can ask more than one question over time to help them develop that problem solving, that process. And then it also, you want to provide some structure, because this one was from an accessibility standpoint, like braces and colons and indentation. It's just giving that student a visual clue from an accessibility point. But one thing the one reason why I picked Parsons problem, because it can really promote the higher order thinking in learners, and it can act as a stepping stone between the low So the reading and interpreting code, and high of writing original code, such as evaluation and creation, which are the higher levels within the Bloom's taxonomy. So it hits multiple levels of that Bloom's taxonomy. So I just wanted to share that one real quick with you because that one is always kind of fun to check out. I want to share two more things with you. Next week is Data Privacy Week. So make sure that you can visit the DPI website, and I will share this out later on Friday in the CSTA listserv. So we'll have that. You can kind of see where we're talking about taking control of your data. We'll have links for students, for parents, and for educators. So just if you have an opportunity to talk about your data and knowing the difference between data privacy and cybersecurity is important, because students sometimes think, well, it's the same thing. It's not the same thing. So understanding that isn't going to be important. And then my last one, where Joe was stealing my thunder, is we need your help. So this is where Heidi and I sat down, and this is where we're working with our CSTA CS working group. We have 3 different rounds that we're working to work on that data completion. So we have that link to that CS Pathways here in Wisconsin, and that will take you to a spreadsheet where we can update, but really connect with your CSA person, because those are the people who are asking to help update that. Or you can fill out the Google form within the CSTA website. We're looking to have 40% of our districts updated by March 5th in next month, or in 2 months exactly, and then having a point of contact. So this is what we're trying to get. We're trying to get that data complete. Once we get that data complete, and then we're going to move on to round 2, which is cleaning up, making sure we understand what a computer science class is and that class clarification, so we know how it's getting reported, how is it being coded within your school. And then we're going to work on data utilization. So analyzing that data from that K-12 progression component, and then potentially looking at some districts that can be scrapped. So the reason why I have the chicken, rooster, whatever you want to call it, with money over here, is that we are hoping to get this data somewhat accurate, and then utilize that data and go through a data progression and having our landscape report for Wisconsin. Because in 2025, which is next year, is when the biennial budget comes around. And there's always money that is in there for computer science, professional development, helping our educators, but every year it gets kicked out. So this year is our year to elevate computer science, to show them the data, to show them why we need that money to stay in that biennial budget, so that we can continue to move forward with offering computer science opportunities, experiences, and professional development to help our teachers grow. So I need your help to get that going, so we can hopefully keep that funding as we go through. So that is what I wanted to share today. So I discard, I'm going to stop sharing.
Thank you, Amy. Are you going to share the link to kind of subscribe to that UK
Yep,
that
it's in
subscription?
I put it in our notes or in the slides for tonight. I put it down next to my name in the thing, but I can.
Okay, so it is shared. Okay.
Yep, I can share it
All
real
I
quick
need.
here. And it's the Raspberry Pi Foundation is linked.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Amy, did you share the oh, there it is. Okay. I was just gonna ask you for that. So I'll put that in the notes.
I added it in the agenda already.
Oh, you
Perfect.
did.
Thank you.
Oh, great.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God. We got 3 winners.
Look at
Chicken
that.
dinner, chicken dinner. See, I knew I had the chicken on my slide for a reason.
I just had to make it official, Joe. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'll be sending you a link. Well, Amazon will send you a link for I think we've been given $20 Amazon cards, or gift certificates kind of thing. So maybe we ought to give one to Amy too, since she's
Heidi
not
can
part of
take me
the
out for
I
coffee
think
next
you
week.
she's not part
Yeah,
of
I
the
can.
committee. So the three of us are part of the committee, so we don't get,
I don't need one.
yeah.
Get more ducks.
I
Yeah.
could-
Yeah.
I really want to get a giant rubber duck to take along with me, and I want to name that duck.
What are you gonna name the duck?
I don't know. I've come up with like Camilla the coding duck or something. I don't know. I've come up with something. Teals, Microsoft would never buy me one, and then I might just buy one through DPI now and have it as our mascot.
I love
Okay,
it.
I have a question, for the ducks. Is that just to represent like coding duck? I haven't, like, I've never heard of that. Or is that just a trait of something?
Give the backstory, Amy.
Okay, I'm finding the link real quick here. So the back of rubber ducking is that the kids have when they get stuck in a problem, that they have the duck to talk to. So they're walking like, all right, I can't understand like going through that person's problem, like what's line 1? Okay, that's good. Line 2. So it's just somebody that they have an object that they talk to. So it's just a thing out there. I'll put a link in the chat to the rubber ducking method.
Yeah, if you're an NCIS fan, the whole philosophy reminds me of Ducky. Like, because Ducky loves to talk to himself.
Yep.
From
It's just a way to
NCIS.
problem solve.
Yeah.
And then maybe to chew on. I don't know.
Ducky, the problem solving
Yeah,
duck.
yeah.
Maybe to distress them.
Maybe they have an iron deficiency. They're chewing.
Or plastic
So-
deficiency or something.
Yeah.
And usually students who have like bugs in their programs, when they come to me while they're talking through their program, they say, oh, never mind. I found out where is the problem. So this is where like they came up with the idea of the duck. So when they are talking to the duck, so they figure out the problem on their own.
Love it.
Wonderful.
All right, I think we need
Oh,
some PR for
yeah.
our February meeting and our March meeting.
Yeah, well, our March will be, of course, in person, but the February meeting, I can't even remember what it was. What is it? Cybersecurity?
I
Oh,
think it's cybersecurity,
yeah,
Dr.
that's
Jenny.
right.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's right.
Yeah, if you guys want, I have a ton of like different cybersecurity elementary lesson plans that I can bring, they want to
Sure.
publicize the fact that like K5, this is applicable to you too. Like there's a lot out there, especially from like Common Sense Media. They've come up with some really good cybersecurity library media specialists.
Heidi, that would be excellent because I teach cybersecurity, but I want to increase the enrollment, the number of students signing up. And I think I would like to start kind of bring that interest when they are much younger. So I have 7th graders every quarter. Here and there, sometimes I can throw an activity to bring that interest in them. So that if you can bring it next time, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I will definitely do that.
So from Father Time here, there's let me tell you a little bit about a historical kind of thing, whatever. In the mid 1970s, that's, I attended an NCTM, the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, and we used to have a very few computer science things. I mean, there were very, very few people teaching computer science or whatever. In any case, I attended a session where the guy, and of course, at that time it was all guys pretty much. Anyway, handed out some envelopes, and in each envelope, he had a strip, like a bunch of strips of paper, and when we spread it out, what it boiled down to is what we now call Parsons problems, and maybe they were called Parsons problems at that time, but in any case, so a few of us that were teaching computer science at that time came up with some problems, and then what we would do is, so we were all teaching BASIC at the time. Remember that language? Maybe oh, okay, Mary remembers that. And what we would do is we would print them out like double spaced and then cut off the line numbers and then cut the papers across. So we had before all this electronic stuff and things like that, we would hand out envelopes and we would have kids do that kind of stuff. So and I hadn't heard them call Parsons problems until Barb Erickson from, well, she was at Georgia Tech, now she's at Michigan, University of Michigan, wrote her whole doctoral thesis about the things. So but they go back at least to the mid 70s that I saw somebody do it. I can't remember who it was, but I'm sure it was at an NCTM meeting because that was the only computer science stuff that was going on at that time. So anyway, enough of the history lesson. So thank you for putting up with me. So
No, that was interesting because CS Awesome does it too for APCSA curriculum. The students drag and drop lines of code to make it make sense, like the order matters. So they do it too. No, it was interesting that it goes back all the way to 1970, you said?
Yeah, and I like those activities. They are very, very engaging and they help like students for their exams.
Yes.
sure.
You do CS Awesome?
I do a mix of CS Awesome and Code HS.
Yeah.
Last year I tried Code.org's curriculum, but it did not help me that much.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do CS Code HS this year. I'm starting new semester next week.
Okay.
So we're past time and we don't have to stop, but you can leave now if you want. So anyway,
Thanks
thank
for
you
the
very much
permission. I appreciate it.
I'm sorry again.
Thanks for the permission.
Oh yeah.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. Have a great night.
Yeah.
You too.
Good
You
night.
too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.